So I go out in the street, and I go to run across the street. I was trying to catch the light. I go to run across the street, and because how the light changed, I got caught in the middle of the street. Next thing I know, they got firemen, they got ambulance, they got the police, everybody out there with all of them.
Katt Williams recently dropped a bombshell, saying that Martin Lawrence didn't just lose his mind on his own, he was actually silenced. According to Katt, Diddy is the one behind it. He believes Martin was poisoned to keep him from exposing some of Diddy's biggest secrets tied to those notorious freak-offs. Katt argues that the very industry that helped build Martin up turned on him once he got too close to the truth. Hollywood, he says, has had a hold on black men for years when it comes to how they're represented. But here's the catch: black men in Hollywood are either cast as thugs or forced into dresses. There's never really a middle ground. Think about it. For decades, successful black actors and comedians have been pushed into these roles that either make them look ridiculous or degrade them. Tyler Perry built an entire empire off of playing Madea, a loud, aggressive, Bible-thumping grandma who can cuss you out in the name of the Lord. Eddie Murphy did something similar with his roles in Norbit and The Nutty Professor. Then there's Martin Lawrence, who practically lived in a fat suit for Big Mama's house. And the Wayans brothers? They went all out with White Chicks, where they transformed into two white women for laughs. The pattern is clear. Black male actors seem to always end up in roles that either poke fun at them or push boundaries, all for the sake of comedy. Blonde hair, blue eyes, French manicures, and designer handbags. These are the types of characters that became iconic in Hollywood. These films made millions, and the actors who starred in them went on to have long, successful careers. Some actors chose these roles without hesitation. Eddie Murphy, for example, built his entire career on playing multiple characters, including women. Jamie Foxx's character Wanda became one of his most popular roles before he really blew up. Even Chris Tucker, Wesley Snipes, and Kevin Hart have had their own moments wearing dresses for laughs. And let's not forget Tyler Perry, who turned his Madea character into a multi-billion-dollar empire.
And told you he wasn't gonna wear no dress until they offered him the dress, and then he put it on. And what did he say after he wore it? I made my own decision. Duh. But you didn't make it before they brought it up, did you?
Katt Williams has a strong theory about Hollywood. He believes there's an agenda to get every successful black man in the industry to wear a dress at least once. According to him, those who refuse to go along with it end up being shut out of bigger opportunities. A perfect example of this is Dave Chappelle. He had his own struggles with Hollywood that many people don't fully understand. Remember when he suddenly disappeared in the middle of filming season 3 of Chappelle's show? The media wasted no time jumping on the story, spreading rumors that Dave had lost his mind. They said he was on drugs or that he was too difficult to work with. But Dave eventually cleared everything up. He wasn't crazy, and he wasn't hooked on anything. The real reason he walked away was that he was under intense stress. The pressure from an industry that kept trying to force him to compromise his principles for money was just too much. The craziest part of all? He told Oprah himself. He explained that it wasn't about losing his mind, but about not being willing to sell out just for a paycheck.
Nah, I'm not wearing no dress, man. I'm funnier than a dress. Just give me something funny to say. I don't need to wear no dress to be funny. What am I, Milton Berle? You know, we're going like this. And then finally he's like, and he leaves. And then like the director comes, Dave, it really would be great if you wear the dress. What is wrong? What is this, Brokeback Mountain in here? So
Dave Chappelle once opened up about a time when he was filming a movie with Martin Lawrence.
I mean, I'm a conspiracy theorist to a degree. Like when I connect dots that maybe shouldn't be connected, I don't know. But certain dots, like when I see that they put every black man in the movies in a dress at some point in their career, I'll be connecting them down like, wow, all these brothers gotta wear a dress. This happened to me.
One of the biggest mistakes in Dave Chappelle's story was that, instead of supporting him, Oprah allegedly made things even worse. When he shared his struggles, many expected understanding, but some say Oprah used that moment to gaslight him even more, making him feel like he wasn't being rational. But if you think Dave's issues with Hollywood ended after that, you'd be wrong. One of the biggest red flags for him, and what really started to bother him about the industry, was its constant obsession with putting black men in dresses.
With Martin.
Yeah.
The movie's going good. So I walk in the trailer, I'm like, man, this must be the wrong trailer because there's a dress in here. They come in. The writer comes in. I think he's the writer. He's like, Dave, listen, we got this hilarious scene where Martin's sneaking out of jail. So he disguises you as the prostitute. And he put this dress on and what? The prostitute? Nah, I'm not doing that. I don't feel comfortable.
Dave made it clear he wasn't going to wear the dress, but the producers didn't give up. They kept pushing him, asking again and again. When he continued to say no, they started trying a new tactic. They brought up other big black actors who had done it before him.
Why are they putting us in these dresses? But the minute it was clear, I was adamant. I'm not wearing a dress. I'm not wearing the dress. All right, fine.
Let's not pretend like men wearing dresses for laughs is something new. It's been happening for centuries, especially in European theater. The whole pantomime dame thing, where men played exaggerated, over-the-top female characters just for comedy, was a huge part of the tradition. But when it comes to black men in Hollywood, the conversation changes. Some people see it as a way to push back against toxic masculinity and homophobia, while others argue it's just another way to make black men more acceptable to white audiences. And then there's Martin Lawrence, one of the original pioneers in this conversation. His role as Shanina on Martin became legendary, and Big Mama's House was a box office hit. But was it really worth it? Some people believe Martin regrets it. Even Katt Williams called him out, not just for playing into the system, but for pulling other people into it, keeping the cycle going.
Play Sinead, watching you in Big Mama's House. I never thought anything of it. I just thought it was funny. But nowadays you hear people say, oh, you know, you got to sell your soul in Hollywood, and that's humiliation rituals and the Illuminati.
Yeah, it's all doing what I do and doing Big Mama and characters like that, Shanae or whatever. These are strong black women, you know, and I'm a comedian, you know, and I'm not above playing a character, putting on a dress or whatever, because I'm in tune with my manhood, you know, so I know who I am. In tune with your manhood, you shouldn't be worrying about it, you know. If you ain't letting nobody get under your dress, I've been offered a lot of dramatic roles. You know, the closest I got a dramatic role was I had to do it myself was Thin Line Between Love and Hate. So that was the closest. And then I wind up recently, about 2 years ago, I did a movie called Mine.
Let's be honest. Hollywood loves putting actors in boxes. Even Martin Lawrence, despite being a comedy legend, admitted that he's never really been offered many serious roles. He put it this way, I haven't been offered a lot of dramatic roles. The closest I got was a thin line between love and hate, and then about 2 years ago, I did a movie called Mind Cage. It took decades, but Martin finally scored a full dramatic role in Mind Cage. That just shows, even after all these years, he still had to push hard to break out of the funny guy category. But here's the thing, Martin's not bitter about any of it. If anything, he's more focused and driven than ever. His You Got What It Is stand-up tour is selling out arenas, proving he's still a powerhouse in comedy. Even with the rise of streaming services and social media comedians, Martin Lawrence is still a major name in the game. He's showing the world that, after all this time, he's still got it, and he's not slowing down anytime soon. Martin Lawrence is making waves and standing strong in his place. Live stand-up comedy? It's not going anywhere, and Martin's proof of that. People need to laugh, and they really want to. With everything happening in the world, you can feel that need for laughter more than ever. People are coming out to shows because they want to escape, have some fun, and just laugh. Martin said it himself, we need to laugh to heal the world, and that's
people need to laugh, you know, and people want to laugh. I mean, you see the sign of the times that we're in. I mean, people just really want to come out and laugh, man, and that's what we need to do. Laughter heals the world.
Exactly what his shows are about. Back in the 90s, Martin wasn't just a top comedian, he was one of the biggest black actors in Hollywood. He was everywhere. But then, out of nowhere, his life took a drastic turn. He went from being at the top of the game to making headlines for all the wrong reasons. One of the wildest moments in his career came on Ventura Boulevard, and it's a story that's become legendary. Martin fought back when the police tried to calm him down, and by the time they managed to get him under control, he was rushed to Sherman Oaks Hospital. But things didn't end there. In fact, they only got messier as people scrambled to figure out what had really happened. The cops suggested it might have been a seizure from him missing his medication, while Martin's publicist quickly stepped in with a statement, saying it was just exhaustion and dehydration. But the truth was, Martin's behavior had been raising eyebrows for a while. Hollywood had already started side-eyeing him after his 1994 Saturday Night Live appearance, where his off-the-rails, raunchy monologue got him banned from the show for life. Then came his stand-up film You So Crazy, which was so explicit that the MPAA slapped an NC-17 rating on it, basically Hollywood's way of saying, "This is too wild for theaters." Despite all that, Martin had just experienced a huge career win. He starred alongside Will Smith in Bad Boys, which raked in $16 million at the box office. On top of that, he made his directorial debut with A Thin Line Between Love and Hate, where he not only directed, but was also the executive producer, co-writer, and lead actor. He was at the top of his game, right?
So I go out in the street, and I go to run across the street. I was trying to catch the light. I go to run across the street, and because how the light changed, I got caught in the middle of the street. Next thing I know, they got firemen, they got ambulance, they got the police, everybody out there with all of them out there just because I tried to run across the street. Nah, but y'all, I was higher than them. I was high as shit. Oh my fucking goodness. Oh, I was smoking that. Ew.
But no one's buying it a few years later.
What's wrong? Calm down. And I'm up there and looking at them and shit, all crazy. They looking at me, I'm looking at them. They looking at me, I'm looking at them. I start singing, how come I feel like somebody's watching me?
As for the gun, the LAPD initially planned to charge Martin with a misdemeanor for carrying a concealed firearm, but honestly, compared to everything else that was happening in his life at the time, that was probably the least of his problems. And if that wasn't wild enough, in 1999, Martin collapsed from heat exhaustion while filming Big Mama's House and ended up in a coma for 3 days. Fans have long suspected that Hollywood didn't just let Martin go, they made him disappear. Was it a mental breakdown, or was this a move by Hollywood to silence him before he could speak out about what he knew? This is where Diddy comes into the picture. His Fr3ak0ff parties have been an open secret for years. These parties were known for attracting some of the biggest stars and featuring the most outrageous, off-the-wall scenes. The rule was simple: what happens behind those doors stays behind those doors. But what happens when someone sees too much? Jaguar Wright, Katt Williams, and even Jamie Foxx have all hinted at the disturbing things that go down at these gatherings. And the real question is, what happens to those who don't play along? Katt Williams believes that Martin Lawrence was one of those people. He suggests that in the late under control, even using extreme tactics like setups and poisoning. And let's not pretend this is new. Hollywood has a long history of making sure its biggest stars stay in check. Marilyn Monroe's mysterious overdose, Michael Jackson's sudden death, and Whitney Houston's tragic passing. These cases all have way too many unanswered questions. Katt Williams believes that if entertainers don't play by the industry's rules, they get silenced. Some, like Dave Chappelle, manage to escape, but others aren't so lucky. And according to Katt, it was Martin Lawrence's turn next. He's even spoken out about the rumors surrounding the Illuminati, saying, "Some of us are against the Illuminati, and we do it at our own risk. When you stand against it, you get punched in the face all the time. The press hates you, and nobody likes you." The truth is, people love Dave Chappelle, but he's never been a part of the Illuminati. Neither him nor people like Katt Williams would ever fit in that world, and Katt's made that clear.
It was his turn next. Some of us are against the Illuminati, and we are against the Illuminati at our own detriment. When people are against the Illuminati, then they get punched in the face all the time. The press hates them. Nobody likes him. End quote.
We all love Dave Chappelle.
Exactly. Dave Chappelle has never been a part of the Illuminati. They don't want him or me or people.
The crowd was cracking up, but for those fans who've been side-eyeing Martin's public appearances for a while, Katt's joke hit a lot harder. It wasn't just comedy. It felt like he was saying something deeper, like he was hinting at things people had been whispering about for years.
Martin Lawrence keeps saying, he ain't had no stroke. But every time he do an interview, he looked like he had a stroke. Now why don't somebody say something?
Martin had hoped that he could finally put the health rumors to rest, but Katt Williams did the complete opposite. For months now, people have been talking about Martin's health, especially after he appeared at an LA movie premiere with Will Smith looking noticeably different. The internet immediately went into full conspiracy mode. Fans started diagnosing him from their couches, coming up with wild theories, and running with any rumor they could find. Despite all the noise, Martin has repeatedly shut down the speculation, trying to set the record straight and put an end to it. But it's been hard with so many people jumping to conclusions.
Wrong with having a stroke and getting better? What are we hiding it for? Every interview he come out.
That should have been the end of it, but Katt clearly wasn't buying it. While Martin is out here trying to stay focused on positive things, Katt's keeping his name in the spotlight. Ever since that Club Shay Shay interview with Shannon Sharpe, which pulled in a whopping 88 million views, Katt's been on a mission, calling out some of Hollywood's biggest names. In that interview, he didn't just talk, he dropped some major bombs, saying, "All of these big names are catching hell in 2024. It doesn't matter if you're Diddy or whoever you are, all lies will be exposed." And if that wasn't enough, Katt appeared on Theo Von's podcast this past weekend and got even more raw and unfiltered. He said, "I always try to look at things positively and assume everything will work out for the best. But I also know I'm stepping on some very powerful toes, and I'm ready for whatever comes next."
For saying that we look good and that I look good because there's a rumor out there that I had a stroke. Man, that's totally not true, so I just want to clear that up. But I thank everybody for the concern and the love, and just thank you. But Marty's all good.
Marty's all right. There's also a rumor, and I wasn't gonna bring it up, that you're a clone. That was the one that I heard. That one too.
Well, that's AI.
Yeah.
It's clear that Katt knows the risks of speaking out, but he's prepared for whatever comes his way. Martin's public breakdown, Jamie's mysterious hospitalization, and Katt's constant warnings all seem to point to the same thing, something the industry doesn't want us to see. But the more people speak up, the more those carefully constructed Hollywood walls are starting to crack. So what do you think? Are these just coincidences? Or is there something darker at play? And the biggest question of all, will Katt Williams be the next target for exposing too much? This story is far from over, so make sure you stay tuned for the next video for even more of the juicy details.